Hi, here I am, Carol at last, going to teach my friends how I make my clootie dumpling. People all want to know, so I thought I'll brave it and I'll make this video clip and then you can all have the details. Okay, here's the ingredients. First of all, I'll show you, that's my cup measure, because people, when you say a cup, people are always wondering what size the cup is, so this is a cup measurement. That's a teaspoon. So what I've got is, I usually use a big green bowl for my flour, but I'm using this so you can see through it. I actually made a mistake with this. I put the flour in and then I forgot I was doing the video and I put a bit of mixed spice in, so that's how it does. It looks a wee bit coloured. The self-raising flour I like to use is either Biro or the Great Scott self-raising flour. Okay, you won't get that in the USA, I don't think. So anyway, it doesn't matter what kind you use, but I like self-raising flour. So the ingredients are 5 cups of self-raising flour in here. There is 4 teaspoons of mixed spice. I've never done a video before, so just, you need to forgive me if I keep stumbling. So that's 4 teaspoons of mixed spice and 3 teaspoons of cinnamon. That is the recipe. You'll see that there's a lot more than that in it because I like lots of spice and I like lots of cinnamon. So I've put extra in. You can do that if you like, it's up to yourself. So we've done the flour and we've done the other, and then you want 3 cups, there we are here, 3 cups of dried fruit. So that's sultanas, raisins, and there's some currants in it as well. For myself, I like to use the Whitworth's fruit because it's juicy. They're called juicy sultanas, and because it's got juice in it, it just makes the dumpling taste so much better. I forgot to mention that I'm actually making clootie dumpling. I think I did, I'm not sure. The reason it's called clootie dumpling is because it's boiled, it's made in a cloth, and the cloth is muslin. You can buy it from John Lewis's or Lakeland Kitchens, but when you're buying it, make sure you don't buy the little tiny ones that are used for jam making. It's got to be quite big. This one is quite badly stained, and I should have really bought a new one for the video, but it is clean. It gets boiled in a pan of water for ages after I use it. So that's the story of the clootie. So that's what clootie, that's where it comes from. Clootie is Scottish for a cloth. I should mention that the noise, the rain is banging off the windows behind me, so I hope it doesn't interfere with the sound too much on a rainy day in Scotland. So unusual for us. Anyway, the rest of the ingredients, we've got baking powder, so that's a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of cream of tartar, 1 cup of soft brown sugar, 4 ounces of margarine or butter. I use margarine. And what else have I sorted out? Some milk. I don't really have a measurement for milk. You'll find out about that in a while. And then my favourite thing of all is black treacle. This is it here. Now, I tried to make it with molasses when I was in Ohio, and I didn't think it wasn't as good as using black treacle. So if you can get your hands in this, it's yummy, yummy, yummy. And so that's 3 dessert spoons. So I think I've covered the ingredients, haven't I? Oh yeah, and keep a little bit of flour in a dish, and I'll explain later on why you need that. So here goes. So we've got the 5 cups of flour, and we're going to add in the margarine. I hope everybody likes my hat. I've actually done it because to keep my hair out the road. So all you're going to do with this is cut the butter into the flour with the knife. Okay, so just keep cutting into the butter or margarine, and don't leave the big clumps of it in your flour. So basically you've done that, and then all you're going to do is add in all the dry ingredients. So that's my cinnamon that I love, my mixed spice, 1 cup of soft brown sugar, and then I'm just going to give that a little stir down, and then I'll put in my the fruit. Then I'm going to add in the fruit. Now if you don't like currants, you can make your combination of fruit from sultanas and raisins, or anything else that you don't like, you can leave out and put the rest in. So that's that done. Clear up as I go along. Don't like mess. Right, so basically all you're doing is just adding in all the ingredients, all the dry ingredients, give them a good mix, and then I'm going to add in the 3 dessert spoons of treacle, black treacle. Now normally it's yummy, yummy, yummy. When I was a kid, I just loved to have a spoonful of black treacle and eat it off the spoon. I still like black treacle sweets to this day. I usually just take it straight from the tin and put it into the recipe, but I've put it in a plastic bowl and the bowl is breaking up. Oh dear. Let's get on that bit. So now I'm mixing in the treacle. Try your best to get it spread out in the mixture as much as you can. I actually use a bigger bowl for this, so if you're doing it at home, if you're doing it yourself, I would use a bigger bowl. I'm just using this size of bowl because it's Pyrex and you can see exactly what's going on in there. But normally I use a big Tupperware bowl. So now this is the thing that I don't have a measure for, because I just pour the milk in until I get the right consistency. So falling out the bowl because I'm using a smaller bowl. Give me a second, I'm just going to swap bowls because I don't like this one. I told you it was going to be a second, so here I am, I'm back. My happy big green bowl that I love. You just really want to get the consistency to be moist. So that's why you're better putting a little bit of milk in at a time rather than a whole lot in together. Okay, so you're just mixing it to the right consistency, and that is it. Looks really quite yucky, but that's the way it's meant to look. Okay. So now we move on. Just make sure you don't have any. A couple of little bits. Just make sure you don't have any white flour showing through, that there's nothing, that everything is covered and everything is moist. Okay, so that's it ready, that's the consistency you're looking for. The next stage is to get it into the clootie. So what we're going to do first is we're going to wet the cloth, okay? Okay, so it's not to be soaking, it's just to be wet. Okay. Then spread your muslin on the table. Smooth this a little. Oh, I need that from a spoon. So what you're going to do is cover the cloth in some flour. The reason we do this is to give the finished dumpling a skin. So that's why you have dried flour on the cloth. Okay, that should be enough for that. I'll just pat it out a bit. Sorry, I spread it out, and then what you're going to do is put the mixture into the middle of the cloth. So it does look pretty disgusting, but I can assure you, Clootie dumpling, it's either, if you don't like dried fruit, if you don't like currants and raisins and sultanas, then I don't think you would like this. It's one of those dishes, Scottish people either love it or they hate it. So, there you go. I should mention that this Clootie dumpling is actually being made for a charity. It's going to a charity called Headway, and it provides support for people who have had brain injuries. And I've got a member of family with a brain injury, so he goes there every week. And on Thursday they're having a Christmas fair, so I'm making this Clootie dumpling to donate to them. Right, so what we do now is we gather all the cloth up together. Like so. Just make sure you don't have any spaces. So that's it. It's all gathered up together, and then what we do is we make a fist above the, what do you call this? And then you tie some string round. I hope this is dead clear what I'm doing. And that's to allow room for expansion when it's cooking. Okay. So we'll just tie a knot in the string. You usually just cut the string off at the end. So that's it all ready to go in the pan, and that's the next stage. Hi, so all we're going to do now is I've got it all ready to cook, so it's getting to the cooking stage. So I've got a pan here, and what we do is, to save it sticking or having direct contact with the bottom of the pan, you can use a trivet or you can use an upturned saucer even. As long as it's just something that stops the Clootie dumpling coming in contact with the base of the pan. So put that into the pan, and there's some boiling water in here already. I'll show you. I just need to, I actually need some more boiling water. Right, so what we're doing is, you only need enough water really. I'll show you when I've got this done. Yeah. You don't fully cover the dumpling. Then what we do is, I'm taking that up to full, up high. That's 9 in my cooker. I'm going to bring this to boil. So the Clootie dumpling is now in the pan with the water, and as I say, it's not, you don't put the whole dumpling into the water, you do it about 2/3 to the top of the kind of dumpling, and then I'm going to bring this to boil. And after it gets to boiling point, I will turn it down. Now, cookers are different. Mine's is a halogen, and it's I've got it at number 9. And when it starts to boil, I'll put this down to about number 5. and leave it to simmer for about 2 hours. Leave it to simmer for about 2 hours, and then I'll talk you through the next part in 2 hours time, okay? Okay, this is me about just before 2 hours, okay? Checking. So I take the lid off. I should have said that while it's cooking you keep the lid on. So the water has kind of gone, so what I need to do is top it up. So what I need to do is put this oven glove over. You need to do this very fast, okay? So I'm going to do, you yank it up, pull it up, put the water in, more water in, back into the pan, lid on, bring this back up to 9 again. Right, okay. So I've brought that back up. I'll put that back on. I'm going to bring it to the boil. I'm just going to put this in. So as you can see, I've put some more water in. Again, you don't fill it up. You can see that the dumpling has expanded quite a bit, okay? So that's up at number 9. So what I'm going to do is put the lid on, bring this down in my cooker to about, so I'm going to bring that down to about 5. I think I might bring it down to about 4. Just to simmer, and then I'm going to leave that for another, I'll leave that for about another half hour. Altogether it should take between 2.5 to 3 hours to get this ready. Okay, so it's boiling again. A few things that I forgot to say that I should have said, that if you can't find a muslin cloth, it's very thin, if you can't find that kind of cloth, you can also use a white cotton pillowcase, a brand new pillowcase of course, and you can just, you can make it inside the pillowcase. That's the way my granny made it. She used to always make them inside a pillowcase, and then she made it in a boiler. She never made it in a pan like this, she made hers in a boiler. And traditionally in Scotland, clootie dumplings, in my house you can have them any time of the year, but traditionally you would have a clootie dumpling made for birthdays and for Christmas. That's the 2 times a year that people traditionally make it for. My granny, when she made it, what she used to do, I should have included this earlier, when she was mixing all the ingredients together, she would put little trinkets in it, and she would wrap them up in baking paper. And so if you, at Christmas time, if you get a trinket, that was really good. But sometimes she used to put a sixpence in, a tiny little silver sixpence. If you got a silver sixpence, they were really into superstition. I'm not superstitious at all. But I used to be lucky if you got a silver sixpence. So that's kind of tradition, a wee bit of a tradition to do with the dumpling. But we don't do that now. My husband's whispering to me, we don't do that anymore. We don't do that anymore because of health and safety, of course. And and I'm not superstitious, so there's no trinkets in mine whatsoever. Okay, so this is us to the next stage, okay? So I'm going to sign off and I'll come back when I'm getting the dumpling out of the pan. Okay. Right, okay. This is it ready, okay? My clootie dumpling, I've looked in, it's expanded, it's the water is just about gone, okay? So, I'm going to take it off first. I'm going to pick it off, that's it. Okay, so what you want to do is put something thick, a towel or whatever, just something round. Ouch, that's so hot. There we go. Onto the plate. And now all we need to do is cut the string off. Now I should warn you that this will still look moist and a bit kind of soggy, but it'll look different from this when it's ready completely. Okay, so what I tend to do is to try and get this whole thing off. I'll just put another towel, another plate, sorry. I usually have my husband to help me with this part, but he's behind the camera, so I'll try it myself. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Voila, that's going to be dry at the top. That's okay. Okay. So this all needs to get boiled. So there we have the clootie dumpling. It's taken a bit of the skin off the top bit. That should actually be the same as the rest of this. But what you're doing now is I need to leave this overnight to let the skin form. So in the morning this will all be quite thick and quite hard. So I'll just go and get a cover for that, okay? It's okay. I've just flipped it back over the other way because that's got a better finish on it. Stuff for later. So there we go. That's my clootie dumpling. And we'll revisit it in the morning when it's all when the skin has set, and then I'll tell you what ways we normally eat it. Okay. So okay, this is the clootie dumpling where I left it last night, and this is the next day. So there you go. You'll see that it's formed a skin, and it's also dark. So I'm just going to take a knife. I don't really want to cut through this because this is for charity, and once it's cut, it's so there we go. There we go. Once it's cut, it's temptation all the way. That's the inside of a clootie dumpling. Okay. Now, you can have clootie dumpling in several ways. You can cut a slice, have it with a piece of butter on it, have it without butter on it, and enjoy it with a cup of tea or coffee. You can enjoy it that way as a piece of cake. Or traditionally in Scotland, what we do, I'll tell you the sweet things first. You can cut it and have it as a piece of cake. You can have it heated up in the microwave and then have it hot and add ice cream or fresh pouring cream or double whipped cream or custard. You can serve it with hot custard as well, and it's really yummy as a dessert. The other thing that you may not think about is, if you're not Scottish, is you can slice it and you can fry it in the pan and serve it up for breakfast with your bacon, eggs, sausage. In Scotland we would have potato scones, tomatoes, beans, and so that's a traditional Scottish fry up with the clootie dumpling. The other thing you do is when you're slicing a clootie dumpling, don't slice it into little thin slices, do them about that thick, because then you can really get your teeth into it and people enjoy them.